quick introduction. I've been knowing this gentleman I am about to interview probably since I was born. He's been knowing me since I was born. Um, Maurice Ted Beard is a 2009 Sacred Steel. He won the Sacred, well, actually earned the Sacred Steel Legend Award. In 2010, he was inducted into the Sacred Steel Hall of Fame. And personally, I grew up as a drummer. That was my first love, and one of my first musical mentors. Period. As a young person growing up in church, was this gentleman that I am about to introduce to you now, and that is Maurice Ted Beard. Thank you, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm doing good, really.
Good.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
It
is good to see you too.
Yeah, even though you're a lot younger than me, we still go back a long ways.
That's right. That's right. I remember playing drums. I'm trying to go back. Like, I was born in '74, so I really started playing drums at a really early age. I think I was probably 10 or 11 playing in Nashville.
Yeah, I have an old tape of Nashville. I think it's of the General Assembly, 1989. And I think you are, when they flashed the old pan over to you, I think you own the drums.
That was probably true. Probably true. I just remember being a little kid, even when we were living in Chicago, coming over to the assemblies, and it would be you and Calvin. Y'all would alternate, either you Saturday night, Calvin Sunday, or Calvin Saturday night and you Sunday.
Calvin
and
Sunday.
That was probably my first chance, getting a turn to play with you as a drummer. Even in Ohio, my uncle Harvey was a pastor in Columbus, and you all would come over for the assemblies, and I get a chance to play with you. Those are the days.
You turned out to be a real nice musician. And
thank you.
Especially you was good on drums. You know, to play for us being that young, you know you had to be good.
We did. Because you guys, listen, for those of you all that have grown up in the House of God Church, and you know about the musician, you know about the Sacred Steel sound, you know, playing with the legends, and we're talking to Maurice Ted Beard. You talk about the train, this is the guy. So to play with you all, it was not only an honor, but it was an humbling experience, but it was also a learning experience. Like, we were being mentored while we were playing, and it was tough love at certain points. You know, when it wasn't right, y'all turned around real quick.
Yeah, well, we whatever, you know, we wanted people that could do the job, and if they could do the job, hey, we didn't mind them sitting there, and you didn't have a problem whatever we tell you to do. It wasn't no problem for you, and so you was great to work with.
Wow. Well, I appreciate. I'm humbled, and I am really humbled. Coming from you, I'm humbled by that, because it was an honor. And I tell people, even when I first started playing steel, you were the guy that I really looked to as far as my style, the sound. You were the one that I was, and everybody would call me Ted. Yeah, that's Ted Jr. right there. You know, because
you could imitate me pretty well. You was good. And then
I appreciate that.
Eventually branch off to your own thing, which is what you're supposed to do. You know?
That's right. So I appreciate that. You know, Robert and I, we talked about it, and we talked about how much you guys meant to us and how much you still mean to us now. But the love and just the things that you guys shared with us, it was so unique. It was, and we were getting it live time. You know, we were in the assemblies, we were in the General Assembly. You know, we were getting it right on the spot. So that's what made it so unique, because we got it firsthand. So I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you. So tell me about, you know, there's so much going on in the world right now, and I know you know the things that's going on. You got to share. You got to show everybody your T-shirt.
Can you see that?
I love it. So we know what's going on, the racial biases and tension, the protests that are happening. Ted, I don't want to tell your age, and I'm sure you, if you don't mind, or you want to tell how old you are, but you've been around and you've seen some things. You want to tell us a little bit about what you've seen coming up?
Sure. In June 15th of this month, I'll be the age of 85.
Wow.
And I started working I got a job at the post office when I was 20 years old. Yeah,
okay.
And that was 1955.
Okay.
And you in the post office uniform, that's still a government uniform.
Right.
You think you something, and I thought I was something until I had my uniform on, stopped at a restaurant, and couldn't get served.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was working with a bunch of other. We was working partial posts that day, and we got early, and and they told me, where to meet. Everybody's supposed to meet there when you finish your route early. And when I tried to enter the establishment, they put me out. They wouldn't even let me. They wouldn't even, they wouldn't even serve me. Yeah. So I was born and raised in Detroit, and I didn't come up in the South, but I experienced, the racial prejudice in Detroit. And so this what's going on now with George Floyd, it really, you wonder when will we be able to breathe,
Right.
And I can sympathize with George. And I think the good thing about it, I think the whole country is changing.
Yes.
You got all kind of races that are now, really see the importance of Black people not being able to, as I was gonna say, breathe,
Right.
And yeah, so we experienced a lot of it, but we've been in church, and when you be in church, you kind of look at things different when you have Jesus as your Savior.
Yeah.
And so the Lord gonna take care of you through everything, But but we experienced a few things, but we always looking for a better day, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we really think, it takes a long time for things to change, but hopefully I can see a change.
Right.
Before I leave here, hopefully I got a few more years that we can see things change. Hopefully.
Yeah. And I think changes upon us. Change is actually happening right now. Even as
right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Even as we talk, we see a lot of changes, a lot of change happening, even through the protest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This protest is going to be good. It ain't no time to be routing and looting. It's a time to really just stand up and stand together and just let people know we are tired of it. And we was born same as everybody else.
Right.
Nothing different except our color.
Right.
And that should be a big difference.
Yeah. It's so interesting. You came up in the area. When I was talking to Calvin last week. He came up in the era, where you guys seen a lot. You know, being refused service to eat. He talked about being arrested. You know, his first time in Detroit, being arrested. And yeah, so he talked to live. You know, he lived to talk about it, and that was so interesting to me, just to know that that he was able to. You guys are still living, and you're able to still live and talk about those experiences that you went through. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah,
but you all
who you
have so
say
much.
that was?
Say that again.
Yeah, who did you say that was?
Calvin.
Oh yeah. Oh
Calvin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he had to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, many times I'm sure he has too. I've been pulled over for nothing, you
Wow.
know, and especially when I was young, uh, I just miss, you know, I'd get flashlight shoved in my stomach, you know, if I asked a question like, why you stop me, you know, they
Right.
shove a flashlight in my question and tell me to be quiet,
Wow.
you know, no respect at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's that is as sad as it is, it's still going on today. You know, there are times I've been profiled, stopped for no reason, you know,
Yeah.
just to be profiled.
Yeah.
So it is such a time we're living in, but changes here and changes upon us.
Yeah.
So oh yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can switch lanes a little bit and talk a little bit about a good friend of mine. He was like a big brother. I'm sure he was like a son to you. And I'm talking about Derek Campbell. He's no longer with us. He passed away. You know, he was like a really big brother to me, and he shared so much coming up. Derek is so interesting though. With Derek, he was there was Mac Dillard as the General Assembly drummer. It was Derek, and there was me. And I remember being like in between or right after, you know, that group. Derek was just so versed when it came to drums, and then of course when he started playing steel. Any fond memories? Anything that you know you want to share about Derek and what he meant to you?
Oh yeah, Derek he was a great guy. He started playing for me in Nashville. I think his dad petitioned, said he had a son that could play drums, and we gave him an audition and
Wow.
in Nashville, and found out that he could do the job. And Derek, I think that's even he was young then, because later on uh, he you know, him and my daughter became very friendly with each other,
Okay.
and he would come to the house and bring his guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and he's supposed to be, you know, supposed to be visit my daughter, but he spent more time with me than he did with her. We
Wow.
would play all day.
Right.
We would play
Right.
the whole 2 3 days he was there, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I had great memories with Derek, and he'd bring Jim too along sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The guitar
Yeah,
player.
the lead man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I found him a very good young man,
Yeah.
and not only a fine young man, he definitely was a great steel player.
He was.
Yeah.
He really, really was. Derek is one of few people. I remember the first time I saw Derek play on Pedalsteel. Now, late, before he passed, and probably the last probably 10 years, 12 years or so, he played his 8-string. That's his go-to.
Yeah.
But when I first heard Derek, it was on a showbud that looked exactly like yours.
Yeah. 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 He
And
did
he
that.
sounded like you.
Yeah. When I went back to New York, and they asked me to play, I said I didn't bring my guitar. Derek said, I got you covered, man. I got a guitar look just like your
Wow.
showbud and tune all ready for you, Ted. And
Wow.
man, he had, when I first heard him play, he was definitely into the Nelson style, yeah.
Okay.
And then after he heard me, then he widened his scope, yeah.
Okay.
And he had a guitar tuned like mine and looked like mine and everything, yeah. Yeah, he
That's
was
incredible.
good. He was good. Yeah.
That's Derek. Yeah, he was, and to know him is to love him, you know, because he had a sense of humor to go along with his style of playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Derek all day.
Yeah,
So go ahead. What were you gonna say?
yeah, I was just gonna say that I admired him so much because he could play without pedals so well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he really it mastered the lap, and I mean he could do anything with it he
Yeah,
wanted. You know? Yeah,
you're
and
absolutely
he,
right.
you know, he finally developed into his own tuning, and 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 that the song "A Change Is Gonna Come," boy,
Oh
you
man.
know,
Ooh.
he does that as well as anybody. He may
Yes.
be the best that ever did it on the steel.
Yeah. I did. Nobody. I haven't heard anybody do it better.
No.
Yeah. I think he's tagged that song, and that will forever be a staple of
Yeah.
who he was. You know. But yeah, he was, that was Derek. That was Derek. That was Derek. So talking steel and pedal steel and lap steel, when did you start? How did you start playing steel guitar? What, you know, I know being in the church is probably, you know, our first introduction of it, like it was for me. But where did it begin with you?
Yeah, in the church, I must have been about 5 or 6 years old
Okay.
when a tall guy walked in there, and I've got this, you know, already in history. Uh, Harvey Neal.
Okay.
Uh, no, Fred Neal. I'm sorry,
Fred Neal.
Fred Neal.
Okay. Fred Neal.
Yeah, he came in with a little old 6-string up under his arm, and I must have been about 5 or 6 years old. First, I
Okay.
can remember. And he started playing in our little church, and that just that just got me over. When I heard
Wow.
him play, I never seen anything like it, you know, and to hear him play, and it wasn't, you know, quite in the Hawaiian style, you know, that
Okay.
you usually heard during that time.
Okay.
He was yeah, he you know, he played so beautifully. And so when I got about 12 years old, my dad brought me a Lapsteel at
Wow.
12. And that wasn't long after I received the Holy Ghost. My grandmother was very insistent on all us young people, you know, being saved. So
Mm-hmm.
she kept us on our knees. So not long after I got the Holy Ghost, my
Wow.
dad brought me this steel guitar,
Wow.
and it was a Gibson, and it was beautiful, but but yeah, I think some of the others, the Epiphone and the Fender played better,
Okay.
and yeah,
Okay.
and so
Wow.
but I was in the church with a lot of musicians. Junior Williams,
Mm-hmm.
and he had 2 brothers,
Okay.
and me and my brothers, and it was horn players, it was
Wow.
sax players, it was
Wow.
other lead players. Yeah, Neiman Lindsay. It was other. Uh, it was a small church, but it was full of musicians, and
Wow.
you know, we was all fighting for a time to play.
What that spot? Wow. So this is, was
Yeah,
it? So this was in Detroit.
yeah, yeah. All
Okay.
this Detroit. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Man.
I got about see, that was when I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I got about 20, 21, I bought me my own first steel.
Okay.
Yeah, my and um, and then
You
in
remember what kind it
'57,
was?
that was a Supo. I think
Okay.
Montgomery Ward sold that. Yeah,
Wow.
that was a nice sounding guitar.
Okay.
I had an aunt that kind of conned me out of it. I didn't want to give it away. I
Wow.
still got, you know, about 9 or 10 guitars, and I sure didn't hate to give that one away, but she begged me so hard for it, I gave it.
Wow. You just gave
Yeah,
it to her. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So, and then in 57, I bought a brand new double neck Fender.
Wow. 8-string?
Blonde Fender, yeah.
Wow.
8 and 8, 2 8s.
Two
Yeah,
eights. Okay.
yeah.
Amazing.
And then in 72, I finally bought that Showbud.
Okay.
It was 3 years old. It was made in 1969.
Wow.
And then, yeah, so
And you still have that
I
guitar?
called down there.
You still have that guitar?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I still got most of my guitars.
Wow.
I called and Harry Jackson.
Okay.
I called on the phone, yeah, and talked with him, and he said he had had a guitar he thought I would like,
Okay.
and so I sent him $800, and he shipped it up here.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was my favorite for a long time. I put about 3 pickups in it.
Okay.
And yeah, finally, Chucky told me to put a Bill Lawrence in it, and I think that Bill Lawrence is still in it, even
Okay.
though my son got it now.
Yeah, we know about those Bill Lawrence pickups for the steel guitar players.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was your go-to, because I all of the memories that I have you playing in Nashville was on that guitar.
Yeah.
I know there were other guitars that you used, but that was probably by far the guitar you used most, when you played. So
yeah. I really love that guitar. My son Terrence got it now,
okay.
and I can't hardly get it back from him.
He knows the word.
Yeah. And
Wow.
but I got a couple of Jacksons now. I like. I got a red Jackson. It's beautiful. It's all wood.
Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, and
Right.
I got acoustic Jackson.
Okay.
It's, has a great sound. Yeah, it's great for playing songs and everything. Sustain the note real well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was something. I'm glad you said that. When you talk about playing songs, for those of you all who are not familiar with Sacred Steel style of music, ladies and gentlemen, nobody could play a hymn or a song better than this guy right here, Ted Beard. The way, I think that's probably why I took such an appreciation of chords and learning melody and learning how to play off of a melody when you're playing steel. And that was so instrumental in my development. And listening to you, to this day, I have tapes of you and videotapes of you playing. Just, there's some good, as we call Jubilee jam style stuff that you did, but it was the songs that you played, the hymns that you played, that I took so much from you and learned so much from you. That was something you always taught us. Learn those hymns.
That's what I teach all the young boys. Yeah, learn to play hymns and slow songs, and then everything else will come. Yeah, but if you get them hymns and slow songs together, boy, that make your music come alive.
It really does. It really does. And you taught me that at such a young age, and I had such an appreciation of just listening to that advice. And I took it, and I did. I went home and I studied. I wanted to play those hymns and songs right. And I had such an appreciation for the way you did it and the way you still do it.
Yeah.
I'm still, like I told you, I'm still learning. I listen to I Come to the Garden Alone. When I listen to you play that hymn, it's so beautiful the way you play it. And I promise you, I'll put the tape in and listen to a chord that you play and have to go back and find out what you did to pull that chord out.
I heard Lonnie Bennett play, but Lonnie Bennett came up to one of our churches, and I heard he come the closest just about of anybody I heard playing it. He did a great job. Yeah, really, I was surprised to hear somebody play it. He really did a great job.
Oh yeah, it is to know your style and to really understand how you did things and how you do things is it's exceptional. So I just I love it. I love it to this day. So this is back. So I'm thinking. So we're at 72 was when you got the guitar and you start playing um, the pedal steel. So you start playing it in church. Now, were you? I know there were probably other pedal steel players, but were you? To me, and I know growing up, you were the first person I saw play pedal steel. Who influenced you to jump to the pedals?
Well, Lorenzo was the great Lorenzo Harrison.
Yes.
He played he played a showbud.
Okay.
And so naturally, all young players like me, I'm anxious to eventually, because I went to the Fender. I think he had a double neck, and then he had a triple neck Fender at one time.
Okay.
Lorenzo Harrison.
Yes.
Yeah, he had 3, and so I didn't get the 3. I got the 2, and then he went to a showbud, but I don't think he used the pedals.
He used the pedals.
But
right.
Yeah. So
wow.
So when I got it, I said,
Okay.
I'm gonna naturally I had to. I was in the time developing my own tuning,
Right.
and so I used something that was on the guitar that I already had. I used some of what was on it as far as the pedals.
Right.
Let it work with me, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would orchestrate my own others, yeah.
Wow.
And I kind of wanted to get it so I could hit some pedals and make some moves, make some Calvin moves. So
okay.
I had to work on that.
And he talked about you too. And I didn't know it. I knew it, but I really didn't realize it that you two played together in Nashville. You will back each other up.
Oh yeah. Oh, them was the good days. Yeah,
Wow.
back when in the early days, probably around the might have been in the late '60s, '70s, around in there. Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't we didn't have this great multitude of musicians as we have now.
Right.
And it was hard to even find somebody, because I didn't have a Spanish man when I was in Nashville. I didn't really, one guy may come up and play with me, and then I wouldn't see him no more.
Okay.
And then if you have to meet the requirements anyway. And
right.
so, and when my early days, I would get a Bobby Tolliver to back me up on the lead. As he just bassed behind me. He was a steel player. Matter of fact, he was the first one I knew that had pedals.
Wow.
Yeah, Bobby Tolliver out of Ohio. Yeah, Columbus, I think. He was the first one that I ran into that had pedals. He had an old Fender, but the 3 pedals up front.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the first one I heard, and me and him became real good tight, and I would get him to back me up in Nashville. Okay. Yes. So it might be just me, him, and somebody on drums.
Wow.
And the organ and piano. Yeah.
Okay.
And then later on, when me and Calvin, if things got short and Calvin didn't have nobody to back him up, he asked me to back him up on the steel, and then he would back me up on the steel. Calvin could play a little guitar too, he could play a little lead. Mm-hmm. So he would back me up there, yeah.
Wow.
And it was really great. Calvin is very inspiring, you play with him and you see what he do to the crowd, boy. You say, woo, I gotta go some tomorrow.
And he said the same thing. He said, Ted will get up there and he'll do his thing and have the people shouting and screaming and hats falling off. He said, I had I had to go home and pray and ask the Lord to be with me for the next night.
Then I would have to do it the next night. I said, Lord of mercy.
Wow.
And that what that do is inspire you and really make you better.
It does.
Yeah, it makes you better because nobody you should to be good. You don't want Calvin had half the church shouting. You don't want to go there and fall down from that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So you're gonna do all you can to at least try to match that.
That's right.
And pray hard and tell the Lord, please help me here. And it makes you better.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
But that, I think it's so humbling to hear it because, when I look at, even when I had the conversation with Robert, your name, Calvin's name continuously came up in our conversation. And just to know that you guys not only were the premier musicians and laid the foundation to a lot of what we hear in sacred steel music today, but y'all played together. And that is a testament of not only your greatness, your humbleness, but to a lot of the young musicians now. Like, I don't know if we could do that the way y'all did it. That is really, it is so humbling to hear it. That you guys played together and did it and love to do it.
Hey, I talk to the Lord, and especially with being in my position, I didn't want to be a selfish person with a lot of people looking at me. And so you have to, and the Lord told me, say, you hold your hand out, you put a quarter in there, and that's all. If I hold on to that quarter, that's all I'm gonna ever have. Wow. But if I open my hand up, and I got opportunity to receive more.
Come on.
So that's why I don't hide nothing. Nothing that I got do I hide from anybody. I share it with anybody.
That's good.
And so me, Calvin, that played together, Bishop Ronnie Hall, man, we have shared many assemblies together. Wow. Yeah, we play together. We've been over each other's house, and just playing around. Junior Williams, I took my son Rico with the Junior Williams. Boy, he had a ball at Junior Williams.
Wow. That is amazing. I
found out I know I am. I share with anything I got. Anybody can have it. I'll show you. It ain't no secret what I got.
And that's the beautiful thing about gifts. When we've been bestowed upon with something, it's really not for us anyway. It's for us to share it with someone else because it was a gift to you.
Yeah. The Lord give it to us to share.
To share.
And so if somebody want it, hey, give it to them. The Lord will give me something else. That's the way I look at it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like it. I love that. I love that. So if you're watching live right now, please share this. Again, Elder Ted Beard here. He is dropping some wisdom. He's dropping some history. And so speaking of history, you were telling me about some of the history of when you were growing up in the church, and just the relation of you, and I know the founder, the Mother Tate. How did that coalition come together?
Oh, my grandmother, she married Mother Tate third husband.
Wow.
Yeah. After Mother Tate died, then her husband at that time, who was Bishop Tate, he married my grandmother.
Wow.
And I didn't find this out till I took care of my mother for about 8-9 years.
Okay.
She had a stroke, so I brought it to my house to take care of her. And I always wondered why my grandmother's name was Janie Tate.
Oh.
And the family name was Asbury. That's mother. That was the guy that fathered all the kids, Asbury.
Right.
And she told me. She said he married Mother Tate's husband.
Wow.
And I said, wow. And I remember a little guy. I remember when I was small, and I remember him. Yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
was married to my grandmother, and me and my brother Doug. He my mother and dad and my grandmother would go to church,
Okay.
and they'd leave us there with him, and we used to call him Tate Tate.
Okay. Tate Tate.
Tate Tate, yeah. It was about 2 and 1. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm about 2. Yeah, about 3 and yeah. And I remember him. Nice, nice guy. Holy. They was holy people, man.
Wow.
Him and my grandmother would go to church, and they'd be the first one there. They get service started.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody come up later, they hear all that singing and tamarines going on and stumping. They would say, "Woo, boy, church must be half full." They get in there's nobody but Bishop Tate and my grandmother.
But they were in there having church.
Having church, boy. Hey, they just going.
That is awesome.
Yeah, people really loved the Lord back then, yeah.
And you know what? I'm glad you're saying that, because, one of the things that I try to get the younger musicians, I should say younger than I, and even some of the ones that are in my age range, to understand about the music. That's one of the reasons it was penned Sacred Steel. There was such a holiness about what we did, and it came from how we worshiped, how we praised. And you even alluded to it when you started. Your father said, "Hey, when you got the Holy Ghost, boom, here you go.
Yeah.
You got the guitar, and it was off and running." So that speaks to not only our upbringing, but I guess the sacredness of the music. Would you say that? Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. Sacred, especially the way it's been in the church way we have introduced it to the church.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess from Willie Easton on down,
Right.
it is spiritual, and I think it was introduced because most of us came out of small churches,
Okay.
and didn't probably have room or money to buy that organ, and so it was either a piano or you bring your guitar,
Wow.
But it's unique that Fred Neal and Lorenzo and those brought that steel guitar in, because we do have a sacred sound that's different from anything else,
Yeah,
and
we do.
And it's really correspond with the service that we have. It really goes with it, we really make it work.
We do.
In praising the Lord the way we do. Yeah.
That's right. It is unique, and it's a style of its own.
Yeah.
It's a style of its own. So
and I never thought that, huh?
No, go ahead. You never thought?
Yeah, I was gonna say I never thought that, it would develop to, till now people of the world is looking at it, Yeah, we changed that country guitar all the way around.
That is so true. A lot of people look at the instrument that we play, this Pedalsteel, Lapsteel, and it was more known in the country music arena. But hey, Black History fact: we've taken the instrument and have made it our own.
Yeah.
We have our own tunings. We have our own sounds. I think that's what's so unique. Everybody that I've heard play and that I've listened to coming up play just has their own distinct sound. That's what made it so great. When we talked about the tunings and the Nashville tuning and the E9 and the C6 tuning, that was their standard tuning.
Yeah.
We came along, we got a little bit of C6 and E9 with a little B, just all kind of exotic tunings that we made up.
Right.
And it just became all our own. So we just created something that is just so unique.
And just about every steel player, and they've got hundreds of them in the churches, Church of Living God and the House of God. Just about all of them, we have different tunings.
We do.
Yeah, we always look like each of us put our personal twist to it.
Yep, exactly what it is. We put our twist on it, and it works.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
It works. So I don't know how to thank you enough. Of course, I have another question for you before we go. There are a lot of guys on here, a lot of young musicians, and one of the reasons why I started doing this, not only to pay homage to my brother Derek Campbell, and to just have some conversation around him, but to talk about something that is so unique. The sacred steel style of music is very unique. It is something that's totally different, and there are a lot of young musicians that didn't get what we got. They didn't get the. I talked about the time when we would go in the choir room in the musician room in Nashville. Those moments, they were priceless, but that was like mentoring 101 for us, because you guys shared so much with us. If there were some things that you would tell a lot of the young musicians coming up, or give them a word of advice or some wisdom, what would you say to them?
Well, the basic thing, they probably should stay humble. You know, I don't know what church they at, and is always uh, waiting for my time, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, but the things they should work with is uh, slow songs, work with hymns, slow songs, and uh, and if whenever you can, play with better musicians. Better musicians make you better. They
Wow.
they add you, because you need somebody to reach to, and and uh, and uh, and when you play with better musicians, you start learning, start opening up your scope. Yeah,
That's
all
right.
playing with better musicians. Yeah,
Wow.
they make me reach, and 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 be humble.
Mm,
Your time will come. If you the Bible said your gift will make room for you,
mm.
and if you're not gifted, then you just have to be, you talented, and you just have to hard work. You just lay with it, just keep
Right.
working. uh Robert didn't, cause I guess I shouldn't add Robert, cause he that joke, let's see, like he start off playing in the
You're right.
beginning. Yeah. uh, but it ain't gonna come easy to everybody.
Right.
But if you love it, just keep working with it, and and pray, ask God to give you, you know ask God to work with you a little bit,
That's right.
and you accomplish something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, this is so awesome. I can go on and on and on about what you mean to me, and I'm sure a lot of other musicians that are around. And there's so many people on here. I can't see my feed right now because I was having some um, trouble looking at it. But there are a lot of people on here that are watching, and I'm just really excited that you did this with me. With so much going on right now, I just wanted to pay homage and just let you know that you have inspired me over the years, and even to this day, to not only be a better musician, to not only be to strive to have a style of my own, but you just taught me discipline. Even as a drummer, you taught me discipline. Playing drums with you was probably one of the most exciting things I could do. Sitting back with you on steel, I was in heaven.
I love you on drums because sometimes you get to the point that things need to, you need to change this service up.
Hmm.
You know, it, it's it's moving good, but we need a spark here. And if I would do that, if I want to make a change, it seemed like you was prepared for it. You seem like you were, like, what is he doing on the drum? And then you would hit it a couple of times real hard, and that would just spark things. That would just change things. Yeah. And and uh and that's what you want. Sometimes you want spontaneous,
Yeah.
and that's one thing about playing for the church. Sure, we got our regular stuff, you go to, but then, you got to, in Nashville, I always told them, I'm really looking for a Jordan or a LeBron. I need somebody to take the game a little bit higher. Nashville has got to be higher than your regular church service back home Wednesday night, and you need a person to do that.
That's right.
You have to change up to do it. You can't keep playing the same thing all the time. You got to, and you wait for the Spirit to help you make that change.
That's right.
But when you got the guys maybe like you on the drums, you ready for it too. You like, hey, where you want to go, and that's so beautiful. You can. It's one night in Nashville we did that, boy. We broke it open, man.
Yeah. I remember. So Carl T. Smith is on Facebook, and he said, ask Ted about the build up. Talk about the build up.
Well, when I play, I have it's a message.
Okay.
I have in my mind, and if anybody, young guys talk with me, I talk about introduction. When you first start off with devotion,
right.
And then I talks about in your letter, you make some points, and that's when you get into the songs, and that's when you build it up.
Right.
You don't want to. Hopefully, they don't go with no fast Jubilee song.
Right.
In the beginning, you want people to sing, worship songs and to usher in, so you can get into your chords and the hymns and play, so they can really concentrate. Right. And then you building it up. Then as the next song, things should move a little faster as the service progress until you hopefully in that third point you at the point, and now you can stay there. Or if you come down, it's all right. At least you got up there.
Right.
But don't throw all your stuff out there on the first song. Some guys make that mistake, throwing all their best tunes out on the first song. If you throw all your stuff out there, if the Spirit come, then what you got? You ain't got nothing.
Wow.
So you always have hold back and you want to build a service. You just don't want to. When you get out up in the morning out the bed, you don't come out and put your shoes on, go running down the street as fast as you can.
Right.
You move around. You put your house coat on. You're moving around slow.
Right.
But as time goes, you get faster, and that's the way I like the service to go. Because if you build it up too fast in the beginning, then it can't go nowhere but down the rest of the time.
Right.
I hope I made some sense.
I think that was perfectly clear. I love the analogy of like writing the letter and building it as you build that letter.
Yeah.
You don't come out with the exclamation at the beginning.
No.
You build up to that. Yeah.
And look at it as a message, and it is a message. That's what you're doing. You're writing a message, and you're doing it with your music. Right. And I've always had this. I mean, people may seem like I ain't got no purpose, but I got a purpose. I know where I'm going. Yeah.
We know. And if you ever play with him, just follow. Just follow. Just follow. I don't know how to say thank you enough for you just taking out time out of your schedule to do this. I really appreciate you. I honor you, and like I said, throughout the years, you've been such an example for us young musicians, and the things that the amazing thing is that what you've taught, I can take with me everywhere, anywhere that I go. I can take the things that you've taught me, and it just works all across the board, So I honor you for that. I appreciate you. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You was a great student.
Yes. When the student is ready, the teacher will show up. And hey, you were that. You were that and more. So I appreciate you. Thank you again for doing this.